All right, hey everyone. This is Royal with Paternity University. I'm here with JaQuaria Barnes. This is the second episode, the second installment of the Student Success Series for Paternity University, where I interview Paternity University students, how they got into the business, their first DNA test, all that good stuff. We're going to talk about it, going to hear it directly from her. So, JaQuaria, how are you doing this morning?
I am well, Roy. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I can't complain. So I want to get into your background first off. You are a service member, correct?
Yes,
Okay. What
absolutely.
service are you a member of?
I am a member of the Navy. Go
The
Navy, be
Navy.
Army.
Okay. Okay. Okay, for sure. So you're out there in Southern California right now, right? That's where you're stationed at?
Absolutely. Sunny
Okay.
San Diego. Yep.
Okay, Sunny Sandy. How long have you been in the Navy?
I am coming up on 10 years in June.
Really?
Um, yep. So
Wow.
it's flowing.
Wow. Wow. 10 years. Okay, so like I'm Army. I don't really know the Navy ranks too much. I know y'all get that all the time. They're very confusing. So what
Mhm.
is, if you don't mind me asking, what is your rank in the Navy?
Yeah, no problem. I'm in the E6.
Okay. Okay.
So
Okay, got it. E6. I think that's like a petty officer or something. I don't know.
yeah, petty officer, petty officer first class. Yeah,
Okay, okay,
E6.
got it. Okay, got it. Cool, cool, cool. Petty officer, first class. That's dope. Um, so let's talk about you getting into the DNA testing business. Like how did that happen? How did that all first start? How you got into this business.
Yeah. So we always talk about the power of social media, and literally one day I'm scrolling on Twitter. I run across your page, and I think at the time your business partner was asking for collectors in certain cities, in different cities, San Diego being one of them. So I initially started off just being a collector, just kind of get my feet wet into the business. So social media,
Yeah,
absolutely, is how we
social
got
media.
started.
That's right.
Yeah,
And you're super professional too, like in dealing with all that. Yeah, it was my
absolutely.
mom's business, who's also in a way my business partner, family business. But yeah, she was seeking out DNA collectors. So tell us about how that DNA collection went, like how the training went that my mom trained you, and then how
Mhm.
that first DNA collection went and what that meant to you.
Yeah. So I got a starting with the training, I would say your mom. We had a couple training sessions. Very very professional, and she really makes you feel comfortable in what you're doing. I have a notebook full of notes, of the trainings that we did, and she just broke it down literally step by step over the phone, and then we did a Zoom meeting as well. So when we first got our first collection for Nationwide out here, I went and met the gentleman at a neutral location, and it was my first time doing it, so I was a little nervous. But the more I started talking to him, it's like they're people just like us. You know what I
Mm,
mean? And they're just doing what they have to do for their personal lives, and we're just here to service them. So it
yeah.
was very, very easy. You know, um, a little nervous, I will say again, but it worked out.
Your hands shaking a little bit when you were swabbing him, or when you were filling out the paperwork?
Yeah,
No,
it's a little bit,
little tiny bit. You
a
got
little
it.
bit, shook it a little bit.
I mean,
Yeah,
you petty officer first class. You got it. It's too easy.
just got to talk to him. That's it.
Okay, so we're talking about DNA collection, and some of the folks watching might be like, okay, what does that mean? What is a DNA collector as opposed to a DNA agency owner? What's the difference?
So when you're a collector, you're basically under another agency, and so say she's located on the East Coast, I'm located on the West Coast. If she got a call that said, "Hey, we need a test done in San Diego," I would go collect on her behalf.
Mm,
Whereas an agency, right? So I'm the actual owner and operator of this agency here in San Diego.
mm-hmm. Yep,
So kind of like owner and then worker, things
yeah.
like that.
Yeah, exactly. So what
Yeah.
made you want to go from the collection part of it to
Mhm.
eventually starting your own agency? What made you want to do that?
I have I have a couple of relatives that had to go through this situation with as far as getting paternity tested. And as I sat back and I thought about it, I realized how much that it could be a chaotic time in your life,
Hmm.
right? When you're trying to figure out those things. And I remember these relatives, these people that I love, how stressful it could be on them. So with that, I just decided to to put myself into it and to help give them that peace of mind or anything. Nobody likes to live in chaos. You know what I mean? So if I can help you, if I can provide an opportunity to help you get that peace of mind about something that's really life changing, that's why I decided to do it.
That seems to be like the common occurrence between a lot of the folks that decided to start their own paternity testing business was they had a relative go through something like that, like Adonis,
Mm-hmm.
who's on the previous episode. He relative, same thing. My mom, relative, her brother dealing with something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So that seems to be and like you said, give them peace of mind. No pun intended. That's the name of your company. So yeah, that's what you're offering. So how did you eventually start your own DNA, and like walk us through the steps of how you started and eventually we're gonna got to your first actual client.
Yeah. Again, social media, finding your page, and I noticed that you were selling the fraternity university. And even if at that moment I wasn't deciding to go into it full force, I really just wanted to read up on it and learn as much as I could. So
Nice.
I get into the modules of the fraternity university, and I'm like, wow, this is some really good information. I feel like I could do this. I feel like I can help change somebody's life in this way. So as I went through all the modules, I really felt like the blueprint was right there.
Hmm.
And I feel like I came across this university, your page, for a reason.
Hmm.
So I just decided to just go full force, and it's worked out. I really enjoy it.
That's dope. No, for sure.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
So I mean, so you being military, I'm
Hmm.
actually genuinely curious, like for real, like you being military, a lot of the incoming leads that we get in this business is
Hmm.
via phone calls. So like, are
Hmm.
you like in you E6 Barnes over here in a meeting or something like that, and you get your call and you got to dip out real quick and then answer. Like, do you have a virtual assistant to do it, or you have somebody, a partner, or anybody like to answer the phone for you?
So right now, actually, I don't. It's just me.
Okay.
The good thing is that I'm not on sea duty, so I'm not on the ship missing phone calls. I'm on shore duty, so I sit in the office all day. But yeah, sometimes I have to be like, hey guys, I gotta take a business call. I'll dip out real quick.
Yeah, dip out.
Um,
Okay.
so I have guys around me at work that can obviously handle the workload if I'm not there, and it's usually about a 10-15 minute phone call, and then I'm back in the office. So it's a
Yeah.
lot of juggling two things, but until we're ready to get a virtual assistant on board and things like that, we're just gonna
Yeah.
make it work.
That's I had to do the same thing. And Adonis on the previous episode talked about how he was missing a bunch of calls. Now, like I said, all the leads they're mostly calls. They don't just order a DNA test or book an appointment online. They normally want to call and talk to somebody. So Adonis,
Absolutely.
he would say he was missing a bunch of calls because he was at work and he couldn't have his phone. And it wasn't until he
Mm,
finally hired a VA to answer his calls that his business got. And same with me. I'll be in meetings and stuff like that, or I'll be at my desk working and I get a call, I jump, oh snap, answer my call, and it just wasn't conducive to my work business life balance. I couldn't do it. So once my wife
absolutely.
joined me in our city, she answers all my calls now, and it's been up ever since. So tell us about your first client, like your first client. How did you speak to the client? Like how did that make you feel when you finally got paid and sent off their samples and all that stuff? Walk us through that whole memory, that whole situation.
That whole situation was surreal to say the least. He gave me a call, and it was actually kind of a little later in the evening, right? It was about 5:36 our time.
Okay.
And yeah, I just got to speaking to him and ask him, what kind of service he need, legal or non-legal. And he mentioned that it would be himself and two children.
Okay.
Um, so we set up the appointment a couple of days later because he was a contractor. He was traveling a lot. So his window was very, very short.
Mm.
So we met literally the next day actually. And it was great. And one thing he mentioned to me, he said, this being able to be mobile is so convenient. He said,
Mm.
I never would have, I didn't even know that people did this. So it's another thing. A lot of people don't know about it. So we get there, we do the test, everything is great. Kids will be kids. So he,
Yeah.
one of the little babies, she didn't want to open her mouth as much, but we got it done and we got the results in. And it was almost like a, to
Yeah.
get that first phone call and to get that
Yes.
first sale. It
Yes.
felt really good.
You did it. You did it. And like you said, it's like a sigh of relief. Like, okay, I've been doing all this studying and taking notes. And I mean, I did a collection for this other but like
My own.
your own first client. Like, wow. That, and how long did it take you to do that DNA test, by the way?
Oh man, it was so fast. I would say maybe 20, 25 minutes. And that's from start to finish. That's with filling out paperwork and signatures, swabbing father, swabbing two children, closing everything up, mailing it off. It was 20, 25 minutes. It's so easy, so convenient. The services that we offer to be able to meet you at a neutral location, and it's a game changer. Absolutely.
Yeah. So you mentioned that, when he called you asked him what service would you like, non-legal or legal. So to the folks that's watching, what's the difference between a non-legal or an informational DNA test and a legal court admissible one? What's the difference between the two?
Okay, so what for your legal test, right? These will be this is something that you can use in court. Okay, court admissible, meaning you can use it in court for let's say child support issues, birth certificate issues, custody issues, anything of that nature. That if later on you need to use this in court, say, hey, I got this test done. These are notarized results. Here, judge, I have this. Whereas for just a peace of mind kit, kind of like an at-home kit, you're just usually doing it just for informational purposes. Maybe you don't plan on using this in court later on. You guys really just need to know.
Yep. Have you, I know you've gotten calls, you've gotten a lot of calls. What have you seen, what people kind of more so ask questions about or want in your area? Do people want more of the legal ones or prenatals or informationals? What have you kind of seen the pattern to be in your area?
I would say honestly, right now, it's just peace of mind kits, just the informational, not as many court admissibles. But I do always give them that caveat, like, hey, if you think that you may need this in the future, it'd probably be best to go ahead and get this done one time by getting the information one now and then have to pay again to get a court admissible one.
That is exactly what you say. Yes, that is 100% correct. Because yes, you can't change your results later on. You're going to have to get a whole nother test. So you might as well get the court admissible if you ever think you're going to use the results in court. No, that's great. So what's your goals for the rest of the year for Peace of Mind DNA services? Like what do you see you and your company doing in the next, by December 31st, 2022?
Yeah, I just want to keep continuing to learn the business, learn the business side of it, as much information. I'm getting calls weekly, almost daily, so it's working out. One thing I would say is just continue to stay patient. Every time somebody calls, it's not going to always lead to a sale. And that's one thing I'm learning as well. So I'm getting the calls, I'm able to give them information, and that's okay. You're not going to get the sales all the time. But as for the business, I would just want to continue to grow, continue to learn. You know what I mean? I don't have a set number. I need to make this every month. I just want to help people out, provide that peace of mind. And that's what we continue to do.
That's good, because that keeps you consistent. Like, you wanted to learn more about the business and the systems and, how you communicate with the laboratories and, how you do, doing your first prenatal test. All that stuff is just learning the business, and that keeps you consistent. And then from there, you say, all right, here's my number. Here's what I want to do. You do that from there. But like you said, I mean, keeping that mindset of just wanting to give peace of mind to people, that sets you apart from any other DNA testing company in Southern California, or probably all of California. Because you're answering the phone with you're operating with purpose. You're not just treating people like numbers. So that's really good. I'm very, very happy for you. I'm really glad you got your first client and your first sale. To many more, to many more. What else? What other information do you have? Either where people can find you, what other tips do you have for anybody that's looking to start their own DNA testing company?
Yeah, if you're looking to start, I'm just gonna go ahead and plug in Paternity University. I tell people all the time, like, how did you get into that? Like, social media. I'll give them your handle, give them the Paternity University. This is the blueprint. Okay, it's literally spelled out, and it's so great, Roy. It's so great. Absolutely. But if you're looking for some social media, we're on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. That name is Peace of Mind DNA Services. Website is www.peaceofminddnaservices.com. Just give us a call, give us a ring, hit us up. We're always available 7 days a week.
That's what I'm talking about. 7 days a week, and you answer the phone after 5:30. Look at that, answering the phone after a certain amount of time, but other places might be closed. That's how you got that client. I think that that was a contributing factor.
That's it.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm gonna put all your information in the details below for the video,
Okay.
so people can reach out to you if they'd like to. And you have the TikTok. I know that's gonna grow. I'm really looking forward to seeing how that grows as well. So yeah, if you don't have anything else, I really appreciate you coming on for the Student Success Series, and to many more. I will interview you probably near the end of the year, and I think you are going to do extremely well.
I appreciate you. Thank you for having me.
All right, you're welcome. Have a good day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.